Hi, this is Arthur Carmazzi, and welcome to the Knights of Transformation, the show designed to help you improve your organization, your teams, and of course, yourself. And today we are coming to you live from the studio here at Avalon in Bali. So let's get started. What we're going to be talking about today is how to get motivation at work through games. So before we do that, of course, we need to learn what is motivation. So motivation is the fundamental idea of kind of going and wanting to do something. Your desire. Now, why do you desire things? Okay, besides the whole chemical factors involved here, there is fundamentally 8 primary motivators. Now, I'm not really going to go into these too much, but let's consider the idea that you are fundamentally driven by 8 things. And I can guarantee you money is not one of them, but you are driven by what money can buy. Okay? So anything that you basically do is going to be driven by 8 primary motivators. Now, understanding these 8 motivators, so for example, the emotional need for security, or the emotional need for challenge and growth, or the emotional need for achievement, or for that matter, even the emotional need for a sense of recognition. Okay, so these are factors that evolve our motivation. So once we understand that there are specific things related to motivation, well, then of course the idea is, why are games fun? I mean, what is it that makes us interested in playing games? Or for that matter, what is it that actually motivates us at work? So if we look at a game, what are the elements of a game that make it interesting and make it fun? Number 1, are we challenged? Okay, so oftentimes we have a challenge. Now here's the thing, okay, when we're playing a game, we are challenged in a safe environment because we don't have the danger of potentially getting fired or of being eaten by tigers or shot in a war zone. We are in the comfort of our own home or maybe even our computer. So we have a sense of security. Now, oftentimes we play games with people that we appreciate or care about. So we have this kind of connection of belonging, okay? And so when we are playing games also, sometimes, of course, there is the sense of winning. We want to win. So there's achievement. There's also that sense of personal recognition, or the potential for personal recognition. So there's all of these emotional drives that are connected into a game. So why does work get disconnected from fun? I mean, think about it. Do we get some of these things at work? Do we get a sense of achievement at work? We do. Do we get a sense of security at work? Well, maybe sometimes. And do we get a sense of challenge at work? Well, sometimes. And the thing is that the more of these motivators that are present in a particular task, idea, environment, whatever, the more potential for motivation that we have. Now, if, for example, you want to challenge people, but you're not doing it in a safe environment, for example, people might get blamed if they do something wrong or if they try something new, and it doesn't work, well, then people are basically going to feel stuck. That means they cannot exercise their ability to get that challenge. Why? So they feel like that challenge is being taken away from them. And if that is being taken away from them, well, that also means that you are demotivating people by losing that sense of trust, the security factor in the environment. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's look at how we're going to gamify a work process. So if we wanted to improve motivation at work through games, we want to gamify the work process. Now, work processes can be gamified, and for example, we've done some work with organizations that have R&D departments and procurement departments and finance departments where nobody was getting along and everybody was kind of blaming everybody else. And in order to basically solve that problem, we gamified the communication and the interaction processes between these three departments. And the result, well, it was actually quite good because now people really understood each other much better and were able to get things done faster with less bureaucracy and basically achieve better, faster results, which also saves lots of money. So the first thing that you've got to do if you're going to gamify a work process is you have to have an objective. What exactly are you trying to gamify? Is it the communication processes? Is it the leadership? Is it customer service? Okay? Now, of course, sales, you can say, oh, well, we've got the game boards on top and, we've got who's ahead and all this stuff. Salespeople have been gamifying sales forever, but we want to go into other more or maybe less tangible kinds of things. So you've got the objectives. Now, what are the behaviors required in order to achieve those objectives? So you have to identify what are the behaviors. Okay? So you got the objectives. Now, in order to achieve these objectives, what behaviors do I need? And the next one, of course, is what are the emotional drives that I need in order to achieve those behaviors? So if I know the emotional drives, now I can go ahead and put elements into the gamification process that bring out those emotional drives. And of course, the next one, because diversity, a sense of something different, is a key component in fun. Why do we have fun going to the beach? Well, oftentimes we go to the beach with our families. And so we have this sense of, belonging with the family, but since we don't live at the beach, or most of us don't, we have that sense of diversity, which means that now we've got two emotional drives that are connected that make going to the beach more fun because it's something that we don't do often. So themes, okay, so you can have a superhero theme, or you can have a knight's theme, or you can have whatever kind of theme is interesting for you and maybe even congruent with your organization. So the next thing is you've got to have the mechanics and structure. So now you understand the motivators. So now what are the mechanics that are going to help to initiate those motivators? Now we actually have a game that helps people to create their own gamified process that leads people through the gamification structure. Now, you don't have to have a game to create structured gamification. What you have to do is identify what are some of the things that would essentially, for example, want to create a sense of challenge, okay? So, for example, a sense of challenge could be, here is a specific objective, okay? And in order to make it more interesting, it's, we've got these 4 different parts that are, in order to achieve that objective, you have to have 4 different parts. And each of those parts is inside of a treasure chest. But to get the key to the treasure chest, you have to finish this part, and then you have to finish the next part. And then eventually you get to put it all together and get a map, which gives some potential type of reward for that objective, unless, of course, the time is up, in which case the key suddenly disappears or something like that, right? So you've got that whole mechanics behind a simple idea. And then, of course, the reward elements. What happens if they open the box? What happens if they achieve this, okay? This department compared to this department, okay? Who is going to get the rewards? How are the rewards? Are they going to be individual rewards? Are they going to be team rewards? We find that team rewards tend to work very well in work gamification more so than individual rewards, okay? And then partners. Who are the different partners? You got to have partners. You have to have this department or that department, or the people that are supporting you. You've got, like the people in the support department, the admin people. So who are the partners for the game that can also be involved in the gamification process? But the key to everything is feedback. How are you letting people know what they do and how they're doing it. Okay, at what level? So you've got to have these feedback mechanisms. It could be leaderboards, it could be a thermometer type of measurement, it could be all kinds of different feedback mechanisms. But the thing is that they're visible, everybody gets to see them, and people are constantly knowing where they're at or where their team is at in order to achieve better, higher standards and goals. Okay, and if you would like the gamification infographic that we've developed, okay, please go ahead and download it over here at workgamification.net. That's workgamification.net. So this is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success.